Use this warm-up to help get you ready for lifting or for practice or for any kind of competition. Start with some spinal cogs to move your pelvis forward and back and your rib cage forward and back. Press your back into the table or floor, arch your back, and lift your rib cage. Do about 5 on each repetition. Next, we'll move into a shoulder press to warm the shoulder blades and your upper body. This is a goalpost to touchdown motion. From here, we'll go into a single leg hip bridge, which will activate your glutes and stretch out the front of the hip. Lift your toes for more glute activation. Make sure you repeat on both sides. In the happy baby pose, we're working on bringing our knees into our chest while keeping the trunk and the core still. Once you can grab your feet without arching your back, you can extend one leg, which will stretch the back of the legs. Do about 5 to 10 on each side. Make sure you're breathing through it all. Getting into our core activation and stretching the back of the legs. Keep your low back pressed into the floor, your chin tucked, the back of the neck long. Keep your knees straight as you lower one leg almost to the floor, and then alternate the other side. Work on really keeping the knees straight the entire time. Next, we're going to roll from your stomach to your back. Bend one knee, reach your foot towards the ceiling, and then reach your leg to touch the floor behind you. This will work your glutes and stretch the front of the hip. And we'll transition up onto hands and knees. Keep your back straight, chin tucked, neck long, and we're going to move into the cogs, extending your spine and flexing your spine. As you come into extension, you want to feel like you pull your shoulder blades together and then push your shoulder blades apart. Notice that we're keeping our neck still as we go through this motion. Then we'll go into some neck range of motion, looking up and down, turning over one shoulder, and side bending. Keep it in your pain-free range of motion. Continue on with shoulder range of motion. Lift your elbow towards the ceiling, rotate your hand up towards the ceiling, and then back down. Keep your core still and your neck tucked and long, back of the neck long. This works your rotator cuff and warms your shoulder blades up as well. From here, we're going to go into a quadratic plank, which will activate your core. Make sure you breathe. Hold for 5 to 10 seconds, 1 to 2 times. And we'll get into a bird dog. Reach with your opposite arm and leg straight out behind you. Imagine you have a ball on your back that you don't want to fall off, so that you're keeping your hips level the whole time. Try to get as long as you can. Coming up into half kneeling, we're going to start with ankle mobility. Try to drive your knee over your toe. Aim over your big toe and your pinky toe. Keep your heel flat. Then we'll go into a hip flexor rock. For this one, have the back toes tucked under, and we'll alternate into hamstring. So we're looking for the back of the leg and the front of the hip. Back of the leg, front of the hip. Alternating back and forth. Back into your ankle mobility, keeping that heel flat, allowing it to rock in and out. Tuck your bottom under as you get into your hip flexor stretch, and then sit back into the hamstring. We can continue work on rotation, goalpost to touchdown, keeping the ribs down, chin tucked, neck long. This will work your balance as well as get your shoulder blades ready for overhead motion. Now we'll work on holding half kneeling. Try to keep your hips level and work on lifting your front leg up without losing balance. The ribs should stay tucked, the back of the neck long. Try not to lean back or to the side. This will help improve your balance. As we transition to standing, we're going to work on those cogs again. So tuck your pelvis under, roll your shoulders forward. Arch your back, lift your rib cage. Allow your head to go with you and move in the range that feels comfortable. We can work on a squat pattern, trying to get your hips as low as you can towards the floor, keeping your elbows inside, coming up to stretch the hamstrings, and then tucking back down and under. Coming up into standing again, we'll go into goalpost and touchdown. Keep those ribs tucked. And work in the range of motion that feels comfortable for you. Work into standing to get some hip rotation. The back leg, you'll stretch the front of the hip. The front leg, you might feel work into the quads and the glutes. Add rotation in to work multiple planes and get your shoulder blade moving. Be sure to switch to the opposite side. To add some core into your last warm-up, you can connect your elbow to your knee as you march in place. This is called cross connect. After you've finished, you are warmed up and ready to go and get after your workout, practice, or competition.